All right, hello, this is Wmpyr. I'm here to talk about a video clip that my student over in Japan, he sent me. He was like, check this out. And what it was a famous knife instructor. So his specialty is with the knife. And he was doing light sparring with another instructor from a completely different martial arts style. So this other instructor was using a training knife and attacking this guy. Um, and what we saw was the so-called knife expert wasn't able to do anything, and he was getting owned really badly. He was repeatedly stabbed and cut. And the other instructor just, attacked him relentlessly, but not super hard. It was light sparring, like I said. But yeah, the so-called famous knife dude, the knife instructor, um, yeah, he got destroyed essentially. So I'm not here to make fun of the guy, and that's why I'm not saying his name, and I'm not showing you guys the clip. But I think this is problematic because if you say that you're a you know instructor when it comes to the knife, and part of your curriculum has defense against the knife, and you're unable to do any of the stuff that you teach, and this guy teaches like lightning fast knife disarms and stuff, and he's unable to do any of that, it looks really bad, you know it looks really bad. But anyway, it's easy to talk smack about somebody else, and I'm definitely not here to do that. I'm not here to throw mud on this guy. The question is, well, what about me? That's what we should all be asking ourselves when we immediately start to criticize other people. You should turn it around on yourself and go, well, what about me? What would I do? And you shouldn't be on such a high horse. You, you should be down to earth, so to speak. So I asked myself, well, what would I have done, right? And the first thing is I would have said no, thank you. So if a guy from another style had a training knife and he said to me, he said, hey, let me attack you with this training knife because I want to see what you got. I want to see what kind of skills you got. So can we do this? And I would say no, thank you, because I don't think this person understands what knife defense really is, or at least the way that I perceive it. Definitely, probably not. He probably has the standard idea, which the standard idea I think is very skewed. So, especially from what I see online, I think what is generally accepted when it comes to defense against the knife is seems pretty crazy in my opinion. Um, so I would refuse. Now, you, that sounds like I'm just taking an exit, a quick, easy exit out. But look, the the way that I explain it to you guys is you need to know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. Because if you don't know that, then you put yourself in a situation where you cannot handle it, but you might think, hey, I could do this. And that's a scary thought, right? To overestimate yourself and think, I'm trained for this, I totally got this. And no. So to me, that is extremely important. And not just with like violence, but also like in life. I remember being in this situation a couple of times. in nature where it was like, hey, should we keep climbing this mountain or, or should we keep swimming further out into the ocean or not? And it's like, hey man, you should know your limitations. And the person that doesn't, they're jeopardizing their life. And this is the same thing with this martial arts. So you need to know what you can do and what you can't do. And this guy, this knife specialist, clearly didn't know what he was capable of and what he wasn't capable of. So he said, yeah, let's do it. And he got destroyed. I hope he learned from it, but something tells me no, he didn't. That he probably made a whole bunch of excuses because I've seen his other videos and stuff, and that's why I'm saying that. I hope I'm wrong, but and human beings are experts at making excuses. We tend to make a lot of excuses, and we tend to justify things. Go, oh, I went up against an expert too, so that guy's good too. So of course I'm gonna get cut. In a knife fight, you're gonna get cut. These are all excuses that are, I think, unacceptable. So asking me to defend against the guy who has a knife in a closed room, and we're pretty much going to be in medium range. This is, I know from experiments that I've done with my students in the past, that I know that this is a bad idea, that my success rate is extremely low. And for me to view this as my techniques or my strategy as a success, it needs to be above 50%. And that's a low bar, guys. Honestly, it needs to be higher than that. But if it's not even 50%, so if we do it 100 times, if I cannot succeed 50 or more times, then I should know that there's something really, really wrong here. That something needs to be modified, something severely missing, that we need to fix something. We need to evolve something. We need to figure something out, That should be your lesson right there. So I know from my experiments, and that's it. For me, that is what justifies me into saying, like, why do you feel like you can teach knife stuff? Is because of my experiments, not because I'm an amazing martial artist, or I'm a brilliant, or I come from an awesome lineage, or I'm high ranking. None of those things. It's simple. I from my It's my experiments. It's really, really that simple. So, but like I said, a lot of other people do similar experiments, but they cannot view it sincerely, honestly. They have expectations, and it's very difficult. I admit it. It was hard for me too. It's difficult to view things from an open mind. It's difficult to view things, without any kind of, I expect this technique to work. The technique is really cool. It should work. I've put in years and years and years into this technique, therefore it needs to work. You know, you can't be biased. You can't be like that. You have to let it go, and that's very hard, very, very hard. You know. So anyway, yeah, I know in that situation it's pretty much a no-go. Why? In Filipino martial arts, there's a saying, a very simple saying, and that is, you do not stick your hand in the blender. So in medium range, a guy has a knife and he's coming at me. That is called a blender. I mean, he may not be doing a blender, but he's going to be cutting and stabbing at me. It's going to become a blender, even if he's not very good at it, or even if it's just like a simple, what the Dog Brothers call the sewing machine. That's a type of blender. Okay, so that's coming at you. The Filipinos say you do not stick your hand in the blender. And this is where everyone, including myself, I learned that. I heard that from, I heard that Filipino saying, and my question was, okay, so then what do you do? And you ask that, do you know what they say? They say the same thing. They go, you do not stick your hand in the blender. They'll say it again. And it's like, wait, but you're not answering my question. What if you had to deal with that, what do you do? And their answer is, you do not stick your hand in the blender. And there's actually a lot from that answer. It sounds like, no, you're not listening to me. I'm saying, what if you don't have a choice and the guy's doing a blender and coming at you? What do you do? And like I said, that's all they got. Meaning it's really not possible to deal with that. You're gonna get wrecked, is what they're saying. And but that doesn't mean give up all hope. So please don't confuse the two, right? So anyway, let's go back to what would I have done. And for me, if someone says, I want to see your knife defense methods, what do we do? And mine is simple, right? We practice the force to force block, and that's what we're going to do, but we're going to use the defense bag. So if someone had a knife and they say, I want to learn your knife defense methods, I would tell them, all right, we need to be in a spacious place, open area, because I'm going to need room, because I'm going to be in long range and I'm going to do my best to stay in long range. I need that. Because the moment the distance starts shortening, I know this from my experiments, that my survival rate drastically decreases. So I need an open area and I need a defense bag. Okay, and I know how to build a defense bag. I can teach you that, and I will also teach you how to keep the distance. And so many people, it sounds simple, right? Oh, you just keep distance. Everybody that I've seen online, and including my students that I've told them over and over again, you keep the distance, they have a hard time keeping it because over time we've been brainwashed. Either it's by Hollywood or just expectations or what. We just think that we need to confront, we need to fight, we need to do combat, we need to get in close, we need to. And all of that is not keeping the distance, increasing the distance. It's the opposite. So we've been severely, severely conditioned for that. So I got ways to train against that, and so that you can succeed. And my success rate was 70% plus. So it was 70% or higher. So that's why I teach it, and that's why I'm comfortable to teach it to anybody. And that's what I do. But anyway, uh, I know people say, well, what if you're in an elevator and you get attacked with a guy with a knife? Or what if you're in a airplane, or what if you're in a closed room? I get it. I understand. I really do. I really do. But you need to understand that that's like asking, okay, I'm in a closed elevator and Andre the Giant in his prime is right there and he's super pissed and he's going to attack me, right? And I have no weapons. And not just Andre the Giant, also, I don't know, Bob Sapp in his prime, uh, and the current, how about Mike Tyson in his prime? So the three of those guys, Andre the Giant, Bob Sapp, and Mike Tyson, those three are in their primes and they are furious and they want to kill you. And you have no weapons and you're in an elevator and you got to defend against that. It's like asking the solution for that. People don't understand that. Why? Because they haven't done the experiment where you're in a room, a closed room, the guy has a knife, and have him attack you. A training knife, of course. And have him attack you and go full contact, and you'll see it's not possible. So it's kind of people think it is possible, and to make it possible, I told you it has to be in long range. So we got to change that. and I need a defense bag. And now I have a chance of survival, you know. But okay, so let's say no defense bag, and, and let's say it is in a closed space. All right, so then what do I do? Well, my next solution to that was the fiend method. And the fiend method is now for a close range situation. But what people don't understand is the knife is not moving. The knife needs to be not moving. And people go, what? Huh? That means that I'm in a held up position, that I already surrendered, and the knife is like at my neck, or is the knife is pointing at my back, or the knife is on my rib, or whatever, and they are holding me up. They're saying, give me your wallet or whatever, and I'm ready. If I could just give them my wallet and this is done, then you should do that, okay? But that's the situation where the fiend is possible, that the knife is not moving. Because once again, if the knife is moving, we go back to you do not stick your hand in the blender, right? So I am following the Filipino cardinal rule of not sticking your hand in the blender. Once you can understand that rule, then you are able to come up with strategies that actually can work, that you do have a much more reasonable survival rate. Like I said, 70% or higher, right? I said 50% or higher, which I think is good against someone with a knife when you're in that bad of a situation. But what I'm teaching is I aim for 70, okay? But anyway, but I know people are like, no, Wmpyr, we don't want that. We don't want the fiend where the knife is. I'm talking about the guy is coming at you with a knife. And some YouTubers did this experiment. Yeah, they a bunch of famous, like the top martial arts, the most popular, martial arts people on YouTube, they did this experiment, and several of you have sent me the link and showed it to me, and I've already done breakdowns and stuff on it. But okay, so I get it. You want me to do that? It's like we have this fascination that it needs to be this kind of fighting situation, right? All right, and I'm telling you, this is a bad situation. That if you are a knife expert, you're not gonna put yourself in this situation. You're gonna avoid it. You're gonna say that's no. Like if you remember Survivor season 1, yeah, remember that reality TV show Survivor season 1? I remember Navy SEAL, ex Navy SEAL Rudy. Man, this guy was he he was an interesting old man, and there was one of the challenge where they were like, you need to start a fire from like scratch. And he said, I'm not even going to try. And he didn't do it. It's kind of like that, where he knows how difficult that is. So he said, I'm not even going to bother. You know, so this is kind of the same situation, but okay. So in this kind of situation, this is exactly what that knife instructor did. And like I said, he miserably failed. What was the biggest mistake that he made, in my opinion, was that he was in the mindset that he was going to defend against the knife attack over and over and over and over. Because the person attacking with the knife attacked him over and over and over and over and over. So it kind of makes sense from that point of view that the guy's attacking you multiple times, you are going to defend multiple times, and that is wrong, in my opinion. Why? Why is it a bad idea? Because I'm already telling you guys that in this situation where the opponent is coming in at you that quick, they're charging in at you, you're going to be instantly in medium range. You don't have time to be in long range and keep the distance, and like fencing or a game of tag even. You don't have time for that. So then you have to rely 100% on reflex. And then if you have to do that, you have to pray that your reflex is faster than theirs, which it's ridiculous. That's why this is silly. And at that range, the way that they can overcome against your reflex, let's say your reflex is faster, okay? Let's say you're like a cat and they're a snake, and your superior reflexes, okay, the way they can overcome you against you is they do combinations. They do combo attacks. So they keep attacking you because at that range, it's impossible to defend against that. The only way is you have to be Neo from the Matrix, which nobody is. That's a fantasy character in a fantasy world. So, um, yeah, it's not humanly possible. So, because of everything I'm saying, and because of what the Filipino saying of do not stick your hand in a blender, you have to jam the blender right away. A fan is coming at you. A blade repeatedly in rotation is coming at you. If you don't jam it, it's going to keep cutting you. It's going to shred you up, right? So that is exactly what you have to do. You have to clash in. So if you're going to block it, which, I understand you got to block it, you block it once, not 5 times, 6 times. Because what that means is he's going to stab you 5, 6 times. So if you can, the best way would be like, I would get a magazine or a book and put it inside my shirt, and I'll do my best not to get stabbed in the stomach, but I know it's going to come there. And if it is, I'd rather have it there than the neck or the face. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to protect my head and charge in, block that. It's going to be reflexes. I wish it was timing, but it's not going to be because you don't have the time. So it's going to be reflex and immediately block it. And then I need to, that's one hit that I took. I'm saying that hopefully I can block 50% of it or whatever, but it's not going to be a perfect block, is what I'm assuming. So I'm going to take the hit, hopefully where the book is at, or I wrap my arms with my jacket. Those are the best bets. And take the hit, immediately jam their arm. I need to jam it and pin it against their body, and I need to control that, because if I don't control it, they're going to keep attacking me with it. So every time they attack me with it, they're cutting me, they're stabbing me. So that's what I need to do. And then from there, I need to really not just control it, I need to secure it. So how do you secure it? With either an overhook or an underhook. That's how you secure it. It's a wrestling move, basic wrestling, overhook or underhook. But the moment you secure it, now it turns into a wrestling match. And if they're bigger than you, stronger than you, or they're more athletic, or just even if they're the same size, it's going to be tiresome. It's going to be brutal. And remember, they still got the knife. So if you let go for some reason, we got to repeat this whole process with all the risks once again. So I don't want to play at the casino again. So I need to hold on for dear life. And I would immediately start wrenching. Now at this point, because I don't want that wrestling match, at this point, a lot of self-defense instructors teach you to hit them, hit the other person and weaken them. What I don't like about that is this is a simple cardinal rule that I follow, which is if I can hit them, they can hit me. If I knee them in the balls, they're going to knee me in the balls. If I attack their eyes, they attack my eyes. So maybe because of the adrenaline, maybe because they're so focused on stabbing me for that moment, they forgot that they could punch me in the throat or claw at my eyes. But if I do it to them, I might even remind them of that, and they start doing it to me, and now we're trading. I'm plucking out their eyes, and they're doing the same to me. I do not want to trade. Therefore, I immediately start wrenching. Wrenching is great because, first of all, a lot of people don't understand. If I start doing it to them, they may not even know that they're being attacked, but they just know that it's very, very distracting and things aren't going their way. It's very confusing and distracting. So I like wrenching. And in the meantime, I could tell them, like, stop, stop. The police are coming. I'm not here to fight you. Quit. You don't need to do this. Saying stuff like that while I'm wrenching them. it's going to confuse them, you know. Um, so that is a wonderful tool that I like. And wrenching is, it, it doesn't look like an attack, you know. And people, if people are watching from outside, they're going to look at me and go, he was just defending himself. He wasn't attacking the guy, you know. But in this case, clear cut, obviously the guy has a knife, so I'm probably going to be okay with it. I'm going to win that part in court. But yeah, the wrenching distracts them and off balances them. So I would wrench them like crazy because I don't want them to punch me or knee me or headbutt me. So I immediately start wrenching, and from there I'll go into like a finger lock and disarm them. Yeah, that is my knife defense method, and I just wanted to make a video talking about this. So I'm trying to make it very clear, what would I do? Yeah. So anyway, I hope that was clear. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.